And we're live?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, lovely YouTube peoples. I'm here with the twin. I was gonna say the other twin, one of the twins. I was gonna say one of the twins. I was like, first of all right. The twin, and this is not an introduction of her because literally I don't think anybody that watches me came from anywhere but her channel.
I think that you have some that are unique to you.
I mean, it might be 5.
Okay, whatever.
It is such a small percentage. It is basically negligible.
Please, Scooter, stop. Please.
So,
scoot.
She's trying to be polite about the fact that the dog won't quit. Because we're trying really hard to.
But
we already had a false
going.
start with this video.
Whatever. He's doing the grab. See, he grabs around my arm to be like wrap around and have me pick him up. Okay, I'll hold you since your auntie is going to be doing a lot of the cards.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So everybody knows about B. This is the twin. She's the one with the actually legitimate channel with structure and stability and purpose. And everyone knows that mine is experimental. We are in her abode with her dog. The ROSIE is around with her macaroni nails. We are not saying her name because we don't need to accidentally call her into the space. We really don't. Look at the alligator smile. Oh, alligator grin. It feels so good. It feels so good. Okay. But this video today, last time I put up my last video, I said because it was kind of heavy energy video that I thought we would just play around and do something a little bit more chill, a little bit more fun was the word I had used. I don't know if fun is necessarily gonna end up being the descriptor, but something that was a little bit more lax, a little bit more chill. So that was the intent of today, and we thought our idea was like maybe we could do a debrief kind of a read, like, hey, we made it over the hump of the inaugural hump. Yeah. And so maybe we would start pulling stuff. Now, I wanted to show you the spread that I've been kind of using. I think it's kind of like my own spread. It's an amalgam of spreads. But it could actually be a real spread out there just in case. I'm not trying to take credit for something if somebody else came up with it. But the middle one being the situation and then crossing the situation just like a Celtic cross. But the bottom, instead of being subconscious awareness, it would be more like what's coming in for us that we don't see coming. Then above in the conscious awareness, it's more of like what's coming in for us that we will see coming or that we will kind of like understand. Then the challenge card and like a universal guidance card. Okay. So this, and of course I just put out 6 positions and you're like looking at me like.
I'm like, okay, I have some of it.
And so I thought about that. But the reason why I'm telling her this is because every tarot reader has their own way of reading cards. Yeah. And even her definition, the little glossary bank that she has is different than how I do it. And the way that she sees stuff is different how I see it. So I think it would be very interesting for us to kind of like flip some stuff out and me kind of talk about, ooh, this is what I see, and then her give her take on it. So I was actually more curious of me shuffling it and throwing out cards and then you going first.
Oh.
She's like,
well, you have to tell me the placements. Yeah.
Okay, so this, I just want to go ahead and say this is going to be like a quick debrief going over the hump of the inaugural hump. I still think that the inaugural energies are probably going to be with us for like at least a week or so.
All of your readings and my readings suggest that there are still more energies to come even if the day has passed.
Yeah, because I keep getting our little Knight of Pentacles horsey that says stuff is going to be a lot slower than we expect, and so it wouldn't surprise me if the energy of this change drags on for a couple months. But in terms of like I guess the shock state or the crisis state, and I don't want to say shock or crisis as in I'm shocked or I feel in crisis. I'm not saying that, but I'm just talking about the tonality of people that I am aware of, that they are saying emotionally what their emotional space kind of feels like, that there is kind of a natural adjustment and sinking into a new thing, an established thing. You know, it's kind of like the end cap of it. That's I feel is going to be kind of hanging around for a week. So let's go ahead. Let's see what is kind of the snapshot of the debrief situation. So this is the situation. So just a quick snapshot of what our debrief situation is. It's already telling me to reverse. Great. Let's go ahead. Snapshot. There we go. Woo! It flew out. Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Do you want to know crossed by, or are you ready to just go ahead and talk about that? Do you want to see a crossed by what first, or?
Whatever you feel like.
We'll see what's crossing it first, because sometimes. Okay. All right, crossed by Two of Cups in reverse.
Oh God.
So this is good.
Yeah. Well, from my standpoint, so situation crossed by.
Yes.
So to me, it's like there's the situation that what we're going through. If we're talking about inaugural stuff, to me, this is like. Things going on that people are feeling quite emotional about, that it's more intensely emotional than any of the political happenings, I guess, thus far, that even if some outcries have been louder on other days, this one, there's just something where it's like on my channel, it's like slow motion. This is a time stood still.
Yes.
Like there's something about the time standing still in an emotional way for a lot of people. Crossed by with the two of cups upright. I mean, that's a part of
reverse.
It was in reverse. But yeah, partnerships and breaking of partnerships. So in this case, it looks to me, it's reading to me that there are people that are like, are you serious? That's it. I'm done. Burnt bridges. I don't believe this anymore. I don't have it anymore. I'm done. I can't, like that kind of a thing where it's like, I just can't anymore. I separate myself from this. What the hell? And so it's like there's people here that look like emotionally time stood still, and they have that sense of it's over. And it could be an angry breakup, it could be a sad breakup, it could be an in shock breakup, it could be a lot of those kinds of ways. But I'm saying breakup as in, even if it's with an ideology, or even if it's with a, this is the person I voted for or whatever, there seems to be like a severing of ties some sort of a way, an emotional sense.
He's being so cute right now. But like exactly what you're saying is you're saying almost exactly what I said in my very last video. Like what you're saying. I know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Everything he's doing right now is so infinitely fucking precious. I almost want to throw the cards on the floor and put him on the table and us just look at him for the next 10 minutes. Okay, so what you're saying here though is exactly what I was thinking when I was saying this. Like, not just like the time stood still. First of all, both of these are cups. These are both cups energies. So when she's talking about it being like an emotional thing and an internal emotional issue, that's exactly what I'm seeing, because in the reverse, I read a lot of stuff being internal, and the cups energy being emotional energy. I think it's important that this is a white horse, because even on the death card, the horse is a white horse, and it's kind of like, the four horsemen of the apocalypse, like riding in on the white horse. There's something that feels, I don't want to say apocalyptic or Revelation style. I'm not trying to get like super dramatic by saying that, but what I mean when I say that is the concept of reformation. This like, it is a new chapter. It is a new energy. So it doesn't have to be something where it's like loud, proud, alarm bells going off in your fucking face, but it can definitely be like, okay, this feels like, this clean sweep. White is clean, fresh, new. It is this new sweep of an energy. And yes, in the reverse, there's this internal energy where, before I even started this, when I said this video was a debrief, I said a shock or a crisis was kind of the emotional tonality that you kind of feel in the world. Like if you're actually just taking a tap on the pulse of the world, you can feel this shock energy, this crisis energy just out there. That's just kind of what percolating, and I know percolating's your fucking, it's like almost copyrighted now. So Anyhow, but that's kind of what I feel like with this. And in my last reading, I was talking about it feeling like that there was this this separation. Obviously, we've got the dualistic thing, but a breakaway. Like you had, like this being a breakup card. I, in my very last reading, had a breakup card, and I was like, this feels like a divorce. It feels like a breakup, a divorce, but I'm not talking about a romantic sense. I was talking about there's something here that feels like either a change in alliances, and it could be on the like governmental scale, the global scale, but it could be on an internal scale too, where it's a change of alliance. And a change of alliance can be like a change of heart, a change of ideology, like what she was saying, where it's kind of like, you know, I am broken up with the idea of this, or I'm divorced from the idea of this, or even people that are part of the cog that maybe thought we were going to go this way and then turned into I'm changing my mind, or fuck it, I'm going that way. I don't know what necessarily is breaking rank and changing, or having this divorce energy or this breakup energy, but there's definitely, because that came up in my last one, and that's what's right here, crossing the situation is this kind of like, you know, it dropped the ball, it feels like womp womp, and this emotional upturn, emotional upset, you know, feeling. There's something about this that almost feels like all or nothing thinking too.
Yeah,
I'm getting kind of a feel.
And it's weird because we know on the outset with any kind of election or inauguration, there's going to be a certain crowd of people that are like, oh, thank God, and a certain crowd of people that are like, oh no, what?
Like that meme where the lady, and I'm not picking on any sides, but I just remember 4 years ago when Trump got picked, and it's that meme of that lady that's like, ah! She's like losing her shit, and it might have been in front of the White House or something. And I don't really care, because I really don't care about like bipartisan anything. I don't care. Yeah. And if there was one that happened this time where people like Trump people were like crying and doing that, send me these memes, because like it's hilarious to me. I'm sorry, it's hilarious. Anybody that just like freaks out like that, I'm just like, did she just, you know, and it just, okay. Anyway, maybe I should just move on. So I do want to go into, because should we do the things coming in, or I think the challenge in that we should do last. So we should go like this, then this one, this one. Okay, because that's just the way it just feels. Okay, so what's coming in that we might not have an awareness of or see coming? It's like the unknown element, the unknown variable that's coming in that we don't consciously understand or consciously see coming. It was already flipped. Yeah. It was already flipped. 2 cards already flipped. Yeah, they were. Yeah. All right, so we've got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, which is already like, and then this is our queen, right? That's a girl, yeah. This card, it's not like, I don't know if y'all can see that. I really don't know if y'all can see that. But she androgynous, let's just put it that way. She fluid. So, go for it, because this is already this is fun to me.
So in terms of unknowns?
Yes, unknown or not conscious awareness kind of a thing, but it is kind of an unknown
like
thing.
Reading it the way that it probably would mean for your channel, or reading it what would come up on my channel seeing this?
Your channel. This you're putting in your perspective.
On my channel, this is Kamala's card.
Because I brought up Kamala in my last reading too. Yeah. But I did, because it was the 9 of Pentacles came up, and she's holding like this damaged bird.
Oh yeah.
And I was like looking behind with his soft head. She's his handler.
I remember you saying soft head. Yeah, no.
That's just me.
Because this is my Kamala card because of the Queen of Swords, and that's her, and in her zodiac. And with this card next to it, again, I even said this in my readings that something either around the inauguration, related to the inauguration, or seeded or catalyzed by the inauguration could happen later. Could be something in the future we don't know about. That there would be something that would happen that is kind of her running into a bit of bad luck, her running into this strange situation where it's like, whoa, lots is changing here, and she's just kind of like, okay, you know, and so it's something that would greatly affect her. And in this case, her coming in the upright, that's a stronger position than if it were her coming up in reverse right now. But I've been getting that there's something that's big that's going to happen around her specifically.
Because when I see this card, because like you said, with her being in the upright, this is showing like
Make sure we're recording, actually, because we're getting good stuff, and now I don't want my phone to be a fuck.
I was like, what? Yeah, it says 14 minutes something.
Okay, good. Okay.
Make sure we're recording because this is actually turning out okay.
Well, you should ask Rico too. Anytime I'm doing anything with Julio, I'm like, go check the camera, go check the camera. We usually edit that out, me saying, go check the camera, because it has shut off on us several times. It's annoying shit.
Yeah, I know. The technology does shit like that all the time. And I just record with my laptop, so it's just like I see the ticker the whole time I'm doing it. But when you see her in the upright, of course, this looks like she is seated in a position of her own personal power. You know, so this isn't her like getting the shit in. A lot of the time when you see the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, it can indicate bad luck. So what you were saying is like, you know, like it could be something that could be bad luck or a misfortune or a misdeed or something that's coming up with her, or at least attached to her if it's not her.
Because saying that there was, in my readings that I've had, there were some kind of negative things happening around her, pertaining to her, that would affect or influence her.
Because it's not her herself. Because here she is in a good position. And so like this can be like the bad luck, bad news, you know, misinformation, misdeeds, misguidance kind of a card. But it can also be like a karma breaking card, a karmic breaking, a breaking of bad habits, a breaking of chains, or kind of an undoing or a correction of karmic proportions. So there could be something along those lines that's coming in where she might be like breaking, well obviously she's already breaking a certain karmic thing in terms of like the patriarchy. So if you wanted to go like really literal and like, you know, empowerment, then we could go like that route. But I do think of it as being like she could somehow be connected to something that could be a bit more unfortunate. Sometimes I say bad news bears. And with the, you know, and you see the little snake on the Wheel of Fortune, and the snake is going to be on that card whether it's in the upright or the reverse. But whenever it's in the reverse, he's like head up, so he's kind of like looking like, ooh, the snake got something. You know, so there's just something about this that always ends up being a little bit like sus when this card comes out. You can't really help it. Let's do one more card on this before we move to the other positions, because I'm also keeping an eye on time. We tend to let it get away from us, you know.
And that has something to do.
I'm so sorry, Scudamus.
That has something to do with the recording too, because of how the record.
All right, the 9 of Swords in the reverse.
Yeah, see, for me, like I said, it would be her going through like these strange, not so great in some people's purview.
Yeah, because both of these are unhappy, unhealthy type.
Like, these just weird circumstances that would have an impact on her, kind of going around her, and there's something that would influence her, impact her in some kind of a way.
Please stop.
And that's why in my readings, I'm like, why does it keep coming up that even despite the things that aren't going well for Trump, his card keeps coming up as being like more like someone who's got the good end of the stick in a way.
He's not on the back foot and he's not the underdog here, or something like that looks like that. Like, because even in my last reading that I did, the Magician card, which is Gemini, Trump is a Gemini, was in the upright. Now that's, you know, that's still a shifty Master of Illusion card, so I'm not saying that that's
but I kept getting his indicator cards in the upright, and I kept getting Kamala and Biden in these reverse positions, and a lot of viewers were like, well, it may be because they're inheriting such an unfortunate set of circumstances that they're disadvantaged. And I'm like, it's possible that could come up. It's also possible, because other people were like, yeah, they're going to get caught and in trouble for some shit they did. And I'm like, honestly, that is also possible in what these cards are saying in this. We were not given enough context to necessarily tell us one way or the other in that. And I think it's yet to unfold.
And I agree that I think it's possible, because this is showing that there's something that this karma, fate, the card of karma and fate, that there's something karmic and fated here that's being worked out, something that can, you know, like the unfortunate, the misdeeds kind of a thing, because those are the words that keeps coming up, misfortune, misdeeds. But this is the card of like, I thought it was a nightmare, but it actually is.
Yeah.
You know? So it was like, it's kind of like, oh, well, you know, fuck you.
Yeah.
Or like the pharmaceutical commercials that's like, what, you want to take this for IBS? You can, like IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, take this pill and it will cure your IBS, except you'll shit yourself to death.
Side effect, yeah.
Side effect, you will
Side effects include
dysentery.
Like on the depression pill, side effects include
death by
suicide.
anal protraction.
Oh God.
That's really bad.
That would be
your
bad.
Protracted ass.
Oh,
yeah, we're not saying that Kamala has a protracted ass.
We don't know anything about her ass. It is probably a very powerful ass.
You're Miss Buddha
Yes.
It's okay. That's what I have her name on all the Amazon stuff. When I buy stuff on Amazon and I ship it to her, I title it Miss Bude Julitas, because she's half Spaniard now. Because, well, you know, Spanish and Mexican are two different things. I'm not that ignorant, y'all. I just run my mouth. I know that Mexicano and Spaniard is two different things. Anyway, I'm intentional. I get intentionally like ignorant and irreverent because I find it funny. So don't come for me. So anyway, we do need to move on to another another part. This top position is kind of like consciously what's coming in. So instead of being like our consciousness or, you know, our conscious awareness, it's more of like what's coming in that we might be more consciously aware of, or something that's more visible to us. Okay. This a lot of the times can be a bit behind the scenes, and this is more like in our face, but this is something that's a conscious awareness what's coming in type of a card. So I know that's like lots of nuance to it, but you know, that's just the way I like to pull cards. It does say reverse it, so and by it does say my brain does. Yeah. You can say spirit guides are whispering in my ear, or you can just say my brain is feeling that. I don't even know. I don't even care. It is what it is. Reverse. Reverse again. All right. And then conscious. No. What's coming in consciously? Wow. Why? Square Mate, you really need to fucking vacate the premises before I set you free into the wild. All right. There we go. I knew it would be. All right, so we have that. I'm going to get another card on it as well. Classic Leo, so I don't know if we have any major Leo players. You have the zodiac signs of people memorized more, but obviously that is the Strength card. The Divorce card came up again. That came up in my very last reading, the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. With this Strength card.
The thing is, I don't know of any Leos per se. However, I do know that in this, a lot of people consider Trump to have been their strength because he was loud, he was boisterous,
he was,
all those. Oh Jesus!
So sorry. I don't know how audible that was.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Okay.
But all of those things, and they looked at him as kind of as a leader in these ways, more than just being a president. And to me, this is like talking about being separated from that for those people who are hurt by that, worried by that, disconcerted by that. But again, this card is in that upright position. So again, if that's what I'm getting drawn to reading it like that, it feels like even if he is not in the role anymore, he didn't get his way with the election or any of the trials that came after or whatever, that still some kind of a way he's still standing. There were a lot of people putting comments on my video like, you said there was going to be 2 presidents. I was like, what? When did I say that? It's so weird when people write things about what I said, and I'm like, I guarantee you, I did not say anything of the sort.
Sometimes the way that we communicate when we're talking really fast maybe can come out.
So I rewatched the videos, and it was me saying some kind of a way he still seems to be in power. So when they might have thought that meant still remain president, but I said, like even though Biden is going to be in the presidency, that's weird.
Without a title.
And so I'm like, no, I meant he's influencing still his influence, his power over people in an influential, impactful way, his ties to the government or people within the government, his networking skills, all of those, something like that he's still in a strong standing. And this is kind of showing that too. And so it's just weird. I'm like, why? What does that mean? Because it's more so than, say, a usual for an ex-president is what I'm seeing in the cards.
Yeah, and to feel Trump vibes off this is very normal too, because like Trump's Vedic astrology sidereal, he's a Leo. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah?
I feel like I've heard this before, or somebody talking about Leo vibes off him. Don't quote me on any of this.
Yeah, because I can't
Don't
remember.
quote me on any of this. But regardless here, I do feel Trump vibes off of this card. I have felt Trump vibes off this card before in the past, but if I'm not taking it to Trump things, though I am seconding exactly what you're saying, where it feels like, you're still seeing if this is an individual, you're still seeing that this influence still retains power, still retains influence. It's crowning the reading instead of grounding the reading. So you have kind of this turbulence, this turmoil that's kind of like, underground here that seems to be like the foundation of the issue. This is the issue, and this is kind of like this crowning the issue, what seems to be on everybody's minds or up in people's heads, what's coming toward them. I think it's very interesting that you have two typical like breakup or kind of an upset type thing, a divorce type energy, where it's like this could be something that can actually feel like it's impacting people, impacting their pockets, impacting their the status quo, like something about like the physical world and how it's shaking up. So I sometimes see this, I can get a little bit nervous about, monetary things, whether, stock market, cryptocurrency, in other readings, sometimes I'll get kind of vibes that go along that way that I'm like, huh. But, that might be getting a little bit outside of an inaugural take. But here I do kind of see that at least on the personal level inside people's homes, there can be like this want to get a grip on life or get a grip on matters and kind of feel like, okay, I want to just get a strong footing and see if we can't like move forward and take this into somewhere that feels better or feels calmer or something. But it still feels to a certain level like the beast is still in the room and there's still some kind of a feeling like wrangling the beast is still looming over our heads. You know what I mean? There's like a undoneness there's something an unfinished business.
Yeah,
feeling
there's something
to it.
weird, and it could
looming is the word that sticks out.
Yeah, and I think that like for people who are Trump supporters, they would probably be like, yeah, there's more to come because he said in his farewell as he was leaving to get on Air Force One, the best is yet to come, alluding to
cryptic.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said the best is yet to come as he was leaving before the inauguration, and then as he was flying off on Air Force One, he made the last song that played was Sinatra's "And I'll Do It My Way." He did. Petty cryptic send off to the max, and his supporters were like, oh, more is coming, and then the people that really don't like him were like, the fuck does that mean, bro?
Because it does sound like a threat. That sounds like veiled threats.
And so with the two factions, there's something kind of lingering, like, okay, Biden is the president now, but is there something coming? Like, is Trump going to try something? Is there something, like, or are we done? Because that was weird. Like, so I think that there's some kind of on both sides of the aisle, something that feels a little bit like, wait, and just waiting to see what that means.
Yeah.
Because I think both sides are curious as to what does that mean. I'm curious as to what does that mean.
I mean, hell, I'm curious now that you brought it up. Shit.
Yeah. I mean, because I'm not even the type to watch the news. I watched all day yesterday until I literally zonked out on the couch and woke up an hour later because I was like wore myself out watching the shit that I never watched.
Yeah, I mean, I was glad that you did it because like you could tell me anything that happened because I can't do that without getting an ulcer.
Yeah, because I was just like taking it in.
Challenge position. I'm not trying to be rude, but the time. Okay, challenge position. Oh my God. Oh,
what did I tell y'all? The fucking tower.
Scorpio energy.
I mean,
big. I'm getting a clarifier. I'm
this has come up in my reading.
Oh my God. Okay, first of all, a lot just came out. I'm taking this because I saw that card. I'm taking it because I saw it, but this is not the first one I saw, so I'll give it to you in the order that I see it. Okay. I'm gonna have to. Oh wait, that one had two, but I'm not gonna look at it. I think that one's no. Okay. Let me make sure. This one I thought was upright, but we're just gonna, okay, because it came out Merc stave on the floor, but it was a little bit.
When mine do that, I'm all like,
nope,
okay,
it's reverse. So literally three major arcanas came out for a major arcana. So we have 4 major arcanas right here, which for those of you who are not tarot people, big deal, red light, flashy light, okay? So we have the Tower in the upright, which is the scarier way for this to be, and we're not trying to get all scary doomsday, but damn if it doesn't just come out, right? And this doesn't mean like, oh, the world's going into World War III, get in your bunker, oh my God. That's not what this is.
Big change.
That's all it means, big change. A challenge is to deal with a big change. A big change that looks like what? That looks like the Empress in reverse, Judgment in reverse, and Chariot in reverse. All 3 reversals, which are difficult aspects of these 3 for an upright Tower, which is the more difficult aspect of this card. So all 4 are in their more difficult positions here, but this is the challenge position. So have fun with that one. Tease that one apart.
I'm getting a lot of different things from this actually right now, but like if I'm going to start with the kind of smaller, more honed in things and then go a little bit more broad.
We got them all popping, man.
On a honed in state, whatever video it was, because I did several and all this shit, but whatever video it was, I made a statement that in my 2021 predictions, at the very end of my 2021 predictions, I made a statement that it felt like at some time in 2021 that there would be at least one potential attempt at pulling a Kennedy.
Hell yeah!
Hold on.
Okay, sorry.
But yeah, because
my tinfoil hat.
this is the Chariot is a car with the open lid, which is gives off that convertible vibe, like what Kennedy was in the day that the grassy knoll happened or whatever. And I was saying that in 2021, and I didn't
assassination attempt somewhere or another,
and I didn't know to whom. Or where or by what means,
how.
But that there would be some sort of a thing, even if that meant like a vigilante trying it, or even if that meant someone high up being like, let's dose them with something that makes it look like natural causes. Suicide. Or something. Like I'm trying to say all the words you're allowed to say on YouTube. You keep saying the A word and the S word.
My channel's not monetized.
Yeah, but you got to be careful with it anyway, because if you ever want to get... just throwing it out there.
Years and years and years.
Because it's one of those things you...
Oh, Shiza. It's saying I have to go to school, but...
so we'll have to...
But that's from home. So.
Yeah, we'll speed this up. But that's the honed in thing, is I'm seeing attempts made. Don't know by whom or to whom, but I'm seeing attempts made this year in 2021. On a bigger, broader scale, what I'm seeing here is the challenge is bringing things to justice, because the judgment card of bringing some kind of judgment upon someone or some people who deserve it is in the reverse. The challenge is, how do we get that to happen? It doesn't look like it's happening. And with the Chariot, be like, stop the brakes. It's not moving forward. It's not happening. The seeds aren't growing in the way that we want it to grow or whatever.
You're not being able to harvest.
Yeah, and so there's some kind of a challenge around that. Now, what is this injustice? Who the fuck knows? Who are the people who are perpetuating this injustice? Who the fuck knows? And it could be, I know people right now are being like, oh, Biden's bad, oh, Trump's bad, or whatever. It could be way different than any of that. But those are kind of the, I guess if I'm being brief, the honed in and a broad version of what I see here. So I'll let you go.
No, but that's exactly what I was saying too, though. You're saying exactly it. That the challenge here is trying to deal with some kind of reclamation or reformation is what it feels like. That there are the shaky stuff that's broken in our society, the aspects of our society that fundamentally are cracked and flawed and have not been doing very well, and it's becoming more and more obvious that it cannot continue this way. It's coming down. It's coming down, period. And it's a challenge for everybody because, it's a big deal a reformation of a society, reforming a society, or a reclamation, reclaiming society as for the people, as opposed to like more like oligarchy type things where it's like a power of the elite, that's something that's very difficult. That is a challenge. And I'm not saying that we're going to necessarily be successful in it because, here we got 3 major cards and they're all in reverse. So it doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to be successful in it, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be bad either. But what I'm looking at here is we have this big even calling, this calling that says, hey, this reformation energy is here. It's something that's almost ripe and primed to be molded. But it's like, do we have people that are investing into this, that are planting their seeds to even grow something? Because I see this sometimes as a card of inaction, where people are sitting around with a savior complex waiting for somebody else to plant the seeds. And it's like, no, the seeds aren't getting planted if you're not planting them, first of all. So that's just like on a personal thing. But like even on a more kind of a global issue, it can just be feeling like we're waiting, and why does it feel like we're constantly waiting for the miracle to take place or the savior to come in or something? And it's kind of like the waiting game for, like what you were saying, for this kind of savior. You've got like Angel Gabriel here and like calling down, from the heavens, and it's like people are almost waiting for this savior, this Messiah to return, kind of an energy, and it's like, again, stop. No, it's not. It's just
and
not.
As you said, savior to return, did you hear that loud gunshot out there?
I heard a thump noise. I didn't know what it was.
There's gunshots out here all the time. I don't know if there's a shooting.
We're in the light country.
We're in the country. So I don't know if it's a shooting range. I don't know if it's what's going on. But there's people that make those loud fireworks sounds all the time.
Like cannon sounds.
Yeah. So whatever it is.
I heard the thump, and
right as you said. About like some savior thing or something.
Yeah, like the savior isn't going to come in the way that people expect it. People expect like the savior energy to come in like one person. Like that's one of the powers, the influence of Trump is he with like a narcissistic mindset is they're very comfortable with taking on the hat of Messiah and Savior. Oh yeah, everybody think of me like that and I will save you. And it's like, well, they can only do what they can do inside their own limitations and confines that are set up, So you can't just hinge it on like one person to do it. We all have the responsibility of planting our own seeds and doing our own calling. But if we're looking at this also on a global scale, like with the Savior's not coming, this also is kind of like a failure to launch. And I said that, and I think it might have even been my last reading. Yes, my very last reading. This feels, again, like a failure to launch because it's like, this is your calling, answering your calling. And this is failing to answer your calling or somebody failing to answer the call. Somewhere there being some kind of a failure to launch a reformation, a failure I almost said incite a calling, but that sounds a lot more like what the Trump shit is. And that's not what I'm going for at all. So I don't know why that blipped in my head, but that's not the way that I'm going for with it.
Probably because you're looking at the tower card literally burning on fire.
Because when I say incite, I'm thinking more of like rally, like MLK, kind of like, like where it's a gathering of like-minded people that are heart-centered and ready to change the world in a positive, impactful way. That's what I mean. Not rioters, looters, or any other, people who, vigilantes that are like, I'm going to do good by like harming, like no. That's a no. Okay, but this can also mean like whatever kind of like reconciliation or revamp it's not coming through, and this can almost be like these are people coming out of their coffins to basically be reclaimed by God in a revelation type thing. We already talked about like apocalyptic energy and revelation stuff, but this is almost the feeling of like the nails have been just driven into the coffins, and it's like we just nailed the coffin shut. So instead of people like
nailed the coffin shut,
shut, boom, boom, yep, there it is again. So I'm telling you, this card's got some beef with us.
Yeah, but we're not trying to scare people though.
Well,
people are gonna get freaked out.
Yeah, I guess anybody that does get freaked out, I try to at the end of the, bring it back to a place of empowerment where it's like, that's not where I'm going.
Well, that's what we will go through next because this is the challenge,
and then the universal guidance comes next, and so it kind of like drives its way into
things will never be all bad because I know these things and I think of that, but then I forget other people
to make sure to
may not know that. Yeah, because I get in the comments all the time. I'm so anxious. I'm so nervous.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh shoot,
that's not for a week, and I'm like, man, I got to do better at making sure they,
to complete the package when I send it off. But yeah, so this would be kind of like the nails are in the coffin, and that doesn't mean like we're dead, we're screwed, we're fucked. That's not what I mean by that. But that can kind of mean that, like if there was something that was like big or supposed to pop off, or something that is this reclamation, reformation type energy, it can be like, if people aren't getting their heads out of their asses, off their shoulders and out of the sand, because that's where people seem to be putting their heads. I'm either going to bury it in the sand and I'm not going to look. I'm going to have it on my fucking shoulders and be bent out of shape with the whole world, or something like that. Like, if we're not getting ourselves right and in alignment, we are basically sealing our own fates with the nails in the coffin, because we're going to, again, be disempowered and inactive and disengaged from this task, from the planting of the seeds and stuff, and that is going to be a full stop. But I do feel like there is some kind of a challenge with not being able to launch something, or something that's kind of staying dead, or the lid staying on top of it, when it's something that needs to be broken open. The challenge is it needs to be broken open, but somebody's driven in more nails into the lid of this thing, and so it's just made it a bit more complicated and a bit more difficult to get it going, because this is just the full stop. This is a feeling of not being victorious. And I was like, where is it? A feeling of not being victorious. A feeling like you're not being able to get this off of the ground. This is also an issue with travel, or like driving and moving an issue. This is a full stop thing. This, I also feel, is a karmic type card, just like this is a karmic type card. So you're seeing a lot of karmic type energies coming up in here. But if you're ready to move on from that, then I'll just, because I know we kind of beat that one into the ground. Okay, so universal guidance. So what kind of guidance energies do we have to wrap up the reading and kind of like send it home? Oh man.
Oh hell, what did you do? Did you not turn your mic back on?
Yeah, I did. Oh, did it die?
Why would it die? It's a fresh ass battery.
No, I did turn it on. I 100% turned it on.
Well, you probably
they would be hearing me shout from your mic.
Yeah,
anyway.
they're gonna definitely catch your voice on it.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
You might have accidentally leaned up against this.
Oh, well,
and turned it off.
Perhaps if it was off, it couldn't have been off for long. And even if it did go off, I know they can still hear me on that. Because I'm hollering. Yeah, I'll get one more card.
Because you've done it on your phone that didn't have a microphone from over here before, and you can still hear you.
Yeah, so I'm not too worried about it. All right, and
Jesus Christ, Alma. And the thing went ka-toom again.
I'm telling you.
As you did it.
With that one, which makes it feel better. A little bit, mildly. This is the only kind of little snafu there. These feel a little bit more appropriate. Appropriate is not the right word. Black cat. Everybody adapt to black cat. Okay. So we have the 7 of Swords in the upright. The Queen of Wands in the upright. 4 of Wands in the upright. Go!
In terms of this spiritual guidance, a universal guidance?
Yeah, this is kind of the wrapping it up universal guidance type of a thing.
Okay, the way, if I had to be short and brief about it, because for time, I'd say it's get a plan together, even if you got to kind of get together grassroots style and kind of think about some stuff and do things a bit in secret. Just kind of figure it out, get your plans together, get some confidence around it, and create intentional communities with other people around what you think is going to help. Whatever actions that you're feeling like you need to take to help change the world to be the kind of place that you feel like you need to see.
Yeah, because I'm
being fast.
Well,
I know.
Because sometimes this is like in the Celtic cross, it'll be like your recent future, or not recent, but like near future energies coming in. But these are the coming in kind of things. So I make this more
of like guidance. Universal guidance. Yeah. So you do. I'll just try to quickly.
Okay, I was just making sure that I defined that in the way that you understood when you were saying it, so you didn't have more to add to it. Okay. So when I think of this as kind of like the guidance-oriented card, you hear, like, for anybody who watches like Emily D. Baker's channel, she says all the time, facts, not fuckery. And that's kind of what I feel really hard when I'm looking at this 7 of Swords. The bottom line is there's going to be fuckery. There's fuckery that abounds, Okay, from either, global level, national level, local level.
And it's like, there's fuckery afoot.
There is fuckery afoot. And to take from her, she's 100% right. There is fuckery afoot. And this is, to me, when I see it coming up as a universal guidance, it's like, I want to make you aware of that.
And this, because it's coming up as universal guidance, I don't think that they're meaning Trump versus Biden, there's fuckery afoot. We're talking bigger than that, people.
That's why I said whether it be global or national or local.
Yeah, because I just didn't want people to get targeted into just that one thing.
God, no.
Because some people will
I got it out for all y'all.
Yeah.
For all y'all. I got names. I'm taking names and tabs on everybody. Everybody, okay? It's for real. For real. I'm so serious. And if people don't know that about me yet, then y'all don't know me. And that's fine. Okay, but it feels like we need to look at facts, not fuckery. Because right now, this feels like part of the fuckery. This feels like part of like Three Stooges type of set it up, wind it up, let it go. Like mainstream media. I know people are like, Trump was bad for calling it fake news and everybody, should believe in the media. Sorry, I don't personally, okay? This does feel like...
And I'm torn on that because I feel like some of what they say I can believe, legitimate, and some of what they can say I'm like, is there more to this? Because I'm feeling like maybe there's more to this.
Yes, and I actually, that is actually, if I want to be a little bit more precise with my view, it is that. Because I'm very rarely an all or nothing on anything, because I do like to be very highly nuanced and discerning about each thing as it comes up. But if I'm speaking in generalities in an overall sense, the mainstream media would be a very easy way to proliferate at a wider scale and a farther scope fuckery instead of facts.
And one of the things with that got me started on that had nothing even to do with all this Trump, Biden, or anything before that. It was back when in 2008, I want to say, when I had a coworker that would go overseas and she would spend time with her family once a year, every year. And she said every time she would go over there, her family would be like, look what all the news stations over here, it was in Spain, it was in Greece, it was in another country I can't even think of, European country. And she's like, look what our news stations over here are saying about these things. And it was nothing the same as what ours were saying.
Even the UK.
And I was like, what? And I was just shocked. I was shocked. And so after that, I'm like, okay, so which part is true and which part is not everything, or there's something different, or they're pitching it in a different way? It was just so weird because it's like the international friends are like, well, maybe some of our bigger channels say the same as yours, but some of our smaller channels are saying different things, or, vice versa, whatever, stuff like that. And I'm like, what? And so it just got me thinking, and that's what I'm getting out of that. That's why
in terms of a media, and it doesn't have to be limited to the media. That's just one thing that I think of when I'm looking at this, because you got someone who's robed and cloaked and going into the dead of night, hiding and like to be sneaky and sly and all that kind of stuff. But like any times I went to the UK like last year or whatever, any times that I was over there, like the news was completely different. And the UK and the US are extremely similar. Culturally and ideologically, very, very similar. Yet their mainstream medias had different takes on stuff, because America is very America-centric and doesn't really talk about like connections to the bigger players out in the globe. It's just different. That's all I gotta say. And for international people that do happen to watch this, they would be very, very well aware of this.
Y'all chime in the comments. International folks, non-US folks, y'all chime in
y'all
the comments.
Even exist on my channel with my 100 people. But still.
Sure they do.
Still. But yeah, this is what I feel like. This is definitely like, keep an eye on your facts and not your fuckery, because fuckery is afoot. And whether it's in the mainstream media or if it's, ideologies or people or things like that, it's like this just feels like I'm making you aware that things are not as they seem as a general course, par for the course. And so it's just an idea to, it sounds played, but like stay woke. That's kind of been hijacked into a bad way, so whatever. But I do feel like a sense of just keep your eye on the facts. No appeals to emotion or warping or any kind of thing like that. A factual thing. Look at her. She's the only queen in the tarot deck that is forward facing. The only queen. Every other queen is sitting sideways and you see a profile of them. She's the only one that sits forward and stares at something that's like straight ahead in the typical Rider-Waite tarot. And so it's like, this is eyes on it. You know, I know it, I see it, and you know, like I've got my eyes on it, which again, to me, is what I'm feeling when I'm seeing that. When I see this, the Four of Wands here, I see it as this is now a time to lay, like what she was talking about, lay a healthy foundation. So taking things more to grassroots level, more to local level, to where you're like, get to know your neighbor, get to know your community, have something that is more community-led, community-founded. You know, you need a foundation. If you don't even know the people that are living next to you, I don't feel like that is a very resilient life strategy. It just doesn't seem like something that's going to put you in an upper hand position or put you in a position where you would have as much resources as you need in a time where there is a lot of flux, because there is a lot of flux here. There's a lot of challenges. This to me hints at a possibility of financial insecurity and things like that. We got a lot of karmic stuff going on.
Potential for financial insecurity came up in my 2021 predictions.
Yeah, and it came up in my predictions too, which is why
it was like I didn't necessarily see anything catastrophically financially, although I didn't look hard for it, but I did find that people in general would have a sense of maybe I should tighten my purse strings.
Yes.
Maybe I should be a little bit more financially conservative with certain choices.
Exactly. That's exactly mine too. Because none of this am I saying, oh, depression era crash, everyone's devastated. Like, no, that's not what we're saying. Again, we're not speaking in these like polar extremes here. We're talking about a spectrum of energy that shifts and flows. And so if we're taking this message into a place of empowerment, what it is specifically and directly saying is keep your eye on the prize. Know what your goals are and what it is that you want to keep focused on. Don't let the fuckery distract you in the factual assertion of your goals, and do it in a way that makes practical sense so that you can clinch a victory and a celebration, because this is a celebration card. This is like a commitment, happy home and family type of card. This is a very positive energy, and this is a very positive energy too. So it's like this is not ending in something that sounds like, you know, oh, horrible and terrible. There's positivity here. It's just saying that we have to make sure that our foundational elements are placed in a way where this tower is not going to come down at all, or come down in a way that's going to really bruise us. Because obviously if you're building any kind of life plan on quicksand, you're going to feel this challenge way more acutely than somebody who developed a more resilient life plan with backup contingencies and things like that. You know, they created their own safety net because they were being their own savior, creating their own safety net, planting their seeds. And so this is just kind of like the tonality of what I see, which is exactly what our prediction videos went into, like all that shit. But this is, you know, it ends in something that does feel like, hey, the ball's in your court, you know. But yeah, I have to shut up, and so we can go ahead and wrap it up. Was there anything else that you wanted to end with?
Seems good to me. I mean, it does seem like the thing we've heard all along is a lot of stuff happens around us, and if we just sit here waiting for some, you know, big miraculous thing, whether it's people who think Trump is going to change the world or whether it's people who think Biden's going to change the world, it's like you'll be disappointed as long as you stay in a place of inaction, then you will stay in a place of disempowerment. And it's like the more that you can, and act not meaning like you have to be a social justice warrior, or, you know, not necessarily, because that's a lot of times what people think when you say action. They think of that or activism or advocacy. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It could be as simple as I want to get to know my neighbors. I want to make sure that I have secure finances, secure food sources. I want to make sure if there's relationships that need mending that I'm going to put the effort into that. I want to make sure if I'm burning the candle for both ends on myself that I want to get some kind of system in place that I can be more healthy with my mental health. It's just like a lot of different things that can be involved, and you find the ones that are fitting for you, and that's where you start with it. And that everybody playing their part in that way is what gets us here and helps us here.
Yes.
And if people are not doing that,
because if you do this, then this won't hurt.
Yeah,
if you completely ignore this, you may find yourself caught up in the hustle, bustle, rustle of this.
Yeah.
But
And I'm sure we're all going to be impacted by challenges shit with that anyway. But
it doesn't have to sting, and it doesn't have to hurt in a way where it's like, like it in any given situation, it's what you make of it. Attitude is everything. And it's like doing these things can just take the edge off. You know what I mean? So it's like you don't have to feel like you're completely pummeled and life is happening to you. It's like, oh no, I got some control here.
Yup.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to shut up. We're going to shut up. We're going to cut this off. We're going to see if we can't figure out how to like splice this and upload it and all this good stuff. The YouTube things. All right. Anyway, thanks. Yeah. Oh, if it was. Let me push stop. I will figure out how to push stop. There we go. And I'm stopping.